I'm Clare Miflin. I'm an architect.
My background is in social research.
And I'm a business person.
2015 was kind of the time when I started wondering if I wanted to be an architect anymore. I knew I liked the sustainable, the innovative stuff at the beginning of architecture, but the contract management, the construction, the detailing just wasn't really inspiring to me anymore. So I really wanted something that would pull everything together, would think in a systems way, and would be inspirational, and that was biomimicry. New York City had just launched One NYC, which is a comprehensive plan for the city, and it includes the goal of zero waste to landfill by 2030. I was moderating a panel, organizing a talk on zero waste, the organics factor. So in the process of moderating the talk, I asked, I've designed a brand new building with 3 chutes. I don't know where the organics would go. What should I do in the next building I designed? So that started this project to develop design guidelines for architects and urban planners to better design our buildings so we can separate waste and incorporate organics collection.
New York City is 8.5 million people, over a 305 square mile area. That's a pretty big challenge.
If you come and walk around, you might not think about it because the trash eventually turns into like this wallpaper, but it really has an overwhelming presence on the streets of New York.
I mean, organics are 30% of the waste stream, and if we really are going to get to zero waste to landfill, we have to divert all of them. And they're really important to divert because if not, they go to the landfill and release methane, and they could be changed into compost and be reused locally.
We looked at the amount of waste generated, as I alluded to, the population, the various components associated with the process.
We spent a lot of time zooming in to our problem and then zooming back out, and that was really actually critical to our process because it helped us gain focus. When Claire suggested that we look at ecosystems, that was a whole game changer.
She was able to identify and provide information specific to the various, probably 5 key typologies within the architectural world and the nuances associated with the removal of waste from the home.
I had met Carol at the first workshop in Montana, and the 3 of us got a chance to meet right at the beginning of the project in Phoenix and spend a really nice evening in the Botanic Garden together. That really was a great foundation for us to work from. And then just the 3 of us did a Google Hangout each week, and Adina was here and would come to the workshops, and sometimes I worked with her here. So it was a great working relationship.
If you have the opportunity to meet or to share parts of yourself that aren't necessarily related just to the project, please take the opportunity to do that because it makes a huge difference in really caring for each other and putting relationship over task.
So we're folks that are a very diverse background, and we're spread all over the world. That creates complexity, but also texture. And texture makes fabric. And those are the things that drew us together towards a mutual goal of resolution for coming up with ideas that will help solve the challenge, not just for New York City's waste stream, but for waste streams across the world.
We were so lucky to pick up Carol as part of our team. She's based in Arizona. It was also an opportunity to really work on how do we get people up to speed with this context, with what it's like in New York City.
New York City is quite different than Arizona with regards to the biome. It took me a bit of time to get acclimated and to come to terms with the variances.
Communication during a project like this is critical. We initially set up a Google Drive where we stored all of our research, all of our deliverables, everything that was due for class. We also set up a Slack channel. It was helpful for scheduling times when we could speak and to just be able to update each other through the day on what aspects were we working on and what needed to be done as well. We also were all taking BioBrainstorm, which was a great motivator. It helped us to provide some structure for how we were going to deep dive.
We had another individual that joined us. This gentleman was a biologist who came from Singapore, which was a very different time zone. So our committee, as just with any kind of ecosystem, there's an adaptation associated with the change. So we had an opportunity to look at initially over 100 organisms that were associated with the potential to be utilized in one way or another towards the outcome. We eventually hit upon 20 organisms and broke that down into 5 apiece.
Claire found this conference that we could present at and all the timings that just worked out really well.
The talk at Yale was great. I mean, I was really pretty concerned about how it was going to go. I knew it was the first time I was putting myself out there, talking about biomimicry. I knew there were people I knew in the green building field who were going to be there, and I was just nervous. But Adina and I were a really good co-presenter.
Claire kind of brought a lot of that detail and passion and vision to the presentation.
She was so enthusiastic and wow, this is cool, and giving people the broad overview of what it was about. We managed to set it up so we gave people a few activities, we brought a load of artifacts, we had the life principles cards, asked them to apply them. But then we went into real depth on the Zero Waste project, and we had some takeaways, both on the ecosystem level and from BioBrainstorm and the actual individual deep dives we've done.
And then got a lot of really great feedback afterwards. People are very interested in biomimicry, and they're starting to think of different ways they can widen their idea space to look to nature and to create places and spaces that they themselves want to be in and that are not harmful to the environment. So
afterwards I was talking to someone who was in the audience, and I was saying, wow, that was the first time I've ever presented on biomimicry in architecture. I've presented on architecture many times and green building. And he replied, I always try to present on the work I want to be doing, not the work I am doing. And that kind of stuck with me. I was like, wow, yeah, this is the work I want to be doing, and I'm presenting on it. So the next steps for me will be really getting that biomimicry part into the actual guidelines. That's really my decision to push it.
I think it would be amazing to bring some of those deep dives and some of the principles of ecosystems that we learned to actually designing solutions for zero waste.
This is one of the last classes that I'm taking prior to graduating with my master's degree in biomimicry. It's been the culmination of a 2-year process.
The VDL process is like the turning point in bringing biomimicry into my career, yes.
The VDL really gives a chance to take everything that you've learned in the past courses and apply it meaningfully to something that you're passionately working on.
If you possibly do have a project in your work that you can apply biomimicry to or in your field, really use VDL to do that, because it gives you the structure. I feel like biomimicry for me, each stage I've just taken the leap before I'm totally sure, and then I've caught up to it a bit like an inchworm going along. And now I'm just going to put it out there in the guidelines, and I'm going to talk about the work I want to do and really look forward to it.